Nadim here with PC.Solutions.Net. So today we've got a very interesting topic. A lot of you have asked. So we are going to do a session where a session token gets stolen. So it's a mock of how a real attack might go about. How hackers might steal session tokens. One of our partners, SaaS Alerts, is the one doing that. We have Jim Lippy, we have Chip Buck, we have Benjamin, and we're going to set it up and show you how it's done and what happens. So here we go.
We saw a big shift in 2023 to the session token theft being the primary mechanism for how these attacks are carried out. After that initial access occurs, that attacker who gains access then offers the session token, or if it's sort of an old school brute force or password spray, the username and password to the secondary attacker, who is going to come in, live off the land. They're going to make very subtle changes to the email profile. They're going to look for patterns of communication between the owner of the account, the legitimate owner, the colleagues, the customers, and vendors. They're going to often try and escalate account permissions, and then they're going to execute as much fraud as they can get away with. They're hoping for more than one fraud from a single account, but certainly try and get away with one. The consequences of these attacks are really devastating. First off, they're typically not discovered for up to 200 days after the initial account compromise. The way they're often discovered is a customer calls up to follow up on a late payment notice, and you discover, well, they've already paid. Or a vendor calls looking for a payment from your company or your client's company, and that company has already paid. Senior executives request payment for goods or services. They get a bogus request. A controller or a bookkeeper follows through with that request because they believe it legitimately came from someone inside the organization. The costs of business email compromise can be in the tens of thousands of dollars for a small company, up to multi-millions of dollars. The average cost of a BEC in 2022, that's the latest statistics that were available from the FBI, was $5 million. The biggest bulk of the costs comes in the legal and investigative costs that can come after the attack is recognized and the follow-on consequences to additional parties are added up. Annually, the FBI estimates that U.S. businesses are bearing a cost of about $2 billion per year in business email compromise. I'm going to start by flipping over to Outlook. Ben has sent me a pretty legitimate looking file share resignation letter. Ben, you're not planning on going anywhere, are you? I don't think you are. You'll notice that these emails can be really, really specifically crafted. This Microsoft privacy link at the bottom, this is legit. If I click on this, it's going to drop me into Microsoft's privacy statement. Wow, that looks nice and secure. I feel pretty good about that. But I want to open this letter that Ben has shared with me and figure out, okay, Ben, what's going on? Why is it that you are resigning? And I come to a typical Microsoft verification page, exactly what I would expect to see. The very first piece of training that you want to discuss with your clients is whenever they're clicking on a link, always come up and look at that URL. So you can see that Ben has set this up as login.notlegitsite.site. Obviously, we don't want this particular server that we've set up for harvesting these attacks to be used in a nefarious way. But this looks like a Microsoft sign-in screen, and it's going to act like a Microsoft sign-in screen. I'm going to drop my password in here. It's going to bounce through and it's going to ask me for authentication. I just got on my phone and approved sign-in. I don't know if everyone can see that. This is a little sketchy to get it to work with the camera. But it's going to ask me to put in that number in my Authenticator app, which I just did. Put in 91, give it my Face ID, and my request is approved. This is the devil, by the way. Stay signed in. I'm going to go ahead and click that.
So what I'm looking at now is I am picking up what Chip's password is and his username. Haven't gotten your session token quite yet there, Mr. Chip. So you might want to, there we go. Now I gotcha. So what I'm doing here is he's successfully signed into Office. and has been redirected. And I have picked up his session token, which I'm going to display here now. So I'm picking up a whole lot of really good information about this. I'm picking up his IP address, his username and password. So if I was a bad guy, I was thinking to myself, okay, it is Chip reusing this password other places like his bank account, Facebook, other places that I can get into just besides Office, most likely, probably yes. But if I just want to gain access to his Office account, the only thing that I'll have to do is pretty much just copy this cookie and drop it into my browser. So I'm going to go ahead and select that here. I'm going to reshare my browser window. Everybody see that okay?
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, I'm sitting at my Office sign-in. I hit refresh, and I'm clearly not signed in. I'm going to use this little cookie extension, very easy to get. I'm going to import. I'm going to copy the text that I just copied out of my Evil Gen X. And then I'm going to refresh. As you can see, I bypassed everything as far as authenticating any sort of MFA that he set up, because as far as Microsoft's concerned, I've already authenticated. So from here, I have access to all of his email, SharePoint, anything that I can get my hands on. And it's very quiet. According to Microsoft's logs, nothing happened. I just popped in normally. And it's just that easy. It takes no time at all.
Okay, thanks, Ben.
Yeah.
We'll jump back over to the presentation itself. So the purpose of the demonstration is really to show everyone how simple it is for an attacker to actually harvest that token. Ben, how much time did you put into crafting that email, just out of curiosity?
I took a little bit of pride in that one, so I did a little bit of Photoshop work. But if I was, it took me maybe like 30 minutes or so, but I would use that one email and send it out to hundreds of thousands of people. And even if it wasn't intended for you, curiosity would have kicked in, and you'd have probably just clicked on it just to see what was in there.
And what's the investment of time for you to set up the server? I'm sure it's pretty complicated to go ahead and set up an entire server platform in order to manage this, or let's just walk us through how that gets done.
It took me longer to pick out which virtual server I wanted to spin up than it would to get the software installed. And software installation takes about maybe 10 minutes, and it's completely open source, so it doesn't cost me a dime other than the cost of the domain and maybe the server. But I can spin up a free server pretty much almost on any platform, Azure, Linode, anywhere, AWS, for a free trial and use it and then forget about it.
And when your research here, Ben, you and I discussed that there are far more risks out there than just Microsoft 365. Mm-hmm. I think you sent me a table that, if I counted them correctly, there were close to 70 different SaaS products that could be hacked just with this one kit
yes.
that you picked up. Is that correct?
And you can write your own as well. It's a simple YouTube video way of having the instruction on writing your own. It's what they call fishlet. And that is designed to emulate and respond like a normal sign-in of pretty much any SaaS product that you can think of.
So, Ben, are you a hands-on day-to-day software developer?
No.
So this doesn't take, and this is not a poke at you, but it doesn't take someone who has years of training as a hacker and software developer in order to execute the attack. Is that correct?
Correct. It just takes a little bit of very, very basic Linux knowledge and a little bit of knowledge about DNS servers. But there's guides out there that walk you through every single bit of it so that you're not having to learn from scratch.
Fascinating.